What if I told you that the discomfort you're feeling, that distorted reflection, that sense of not belonging, is not a sign that something's wrong? It's a confirmation. Because when your reality begins to shift, it doesn't do it quietly. It screams, it pokes you, it challenges you, and it's exactly when everything seems out of alignment that the new is actually closest. You just don't recognize it because you're waiting for the reflection to look beautiful first. But here's the truth. The reflection gets worse before it gets better. In quantum spirituality, what you see outside as is just a delayed echo of what's already shifting inside. And that chaos, that pain, that trigger, is the field whispering, "You're almost there." But most people give up at this point. They go back, they mistake turbulence for the wrong path. They confuse the shadow for a setback. They think the test means it's not going to happen. Today you're going to realize that the reflection you hate is just a symptom that the mirror is being polished, and that your new reality is already reflecting you back, just on a deeper frequency. Maybe you're exactly at that point right now. And if you are, this video isn't just content, it's confirmation. First reflection, the law of the inverse mirror. The reflection gets worse before it gets better. Sometimes it feels like the universe is mocking us. You decide to change, you adjust your frequency, you do everything right, and suddenly, everything gets worse. Reality screams the opposite of what you feel inside, but what if that's not sabotage? What if it's confirmation that reality is finally beginning to yield? It's like renovating a house. In the messiest week, with dust everywhere and walls exposed, that's when the new structure is actually taking shape. It's not chaos, it's transition. And that's exactly what happens when you shift internally. The outer world scrambles before it aligns. It's a sign of energetic reconfiguration. This is what we call the law of the inverse mirror. When your inner vibration changes, the field resists. The old reality pushes back before it dissolves. That's not a mistake, it's feedback. You're being tested to see if you'll hold the new frequency in the face of the old scenery. That's energetic coherence. It happened to me. When I started creating more authentic, vulnerable content, that's when the worst comments showed up. More hate, more rejection. But instead of retreating, I chose to breathe and continue. And soon after, the right audience arrived. The mirror had flipped. It's easy to believe the universe is punishing us, but in truth, it's clearing the space. Every real change creates friction. It's like redirecting a river. The old water still tries to follow the old path. That friction is proof of spiritual transition. And the louder the noise, the deeper the transformation. This is where the principle of energetic homeostasis comes in. The field seeks balance. When you change your frequency, it pulls you back to the old pattern. But if you sustain the new vibration long enough, the field gives in. And then, reality begins to bend. That's the true quantum leap. There's a simple practice that turns friction into confirmation. When something bad happens, pause for 60 seconds, breathe deeply, and relabel the moment. Say to yourself, "This is evidence of change." Naming the experience shifts your relationship to it. What once hurt, now empowers. Think of how the body reacts to an intense workout. It burns, it shakes, it aches. But that's a sign your muscles are adapting. In quantum spirituality, it's the same. That uncomfortable reflection is growth pain. And growth only happens for those who keep going without immediate results. Imagine a foggy mirror. You start cleaning it, but for a while the image is still blurred. It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's just that the process takes time. Reality's reflection also has a delay. Your new identity has already sent the signal. The world is just adjusting the return. This moment demands active faith. Not blind faith, but faith that breathes deep even when everything falls apart. That keeps showing up in new habits, even without applause. That continues to emit the new frequency, even when the reflection still shows the old. That's self-transformation in motion. You'll notice that at this stage, criticism increases. Internal doubts get louder. People close to you question your choices. But none of that is proof of failure. It's just the old reality trying to survive. Only now, you no longer resonate with it. So the next time life seems to challenge you right after you decide to shift, remember, the chaos before order is the last breath of the old. breathe, anchor your energy, and observe. Because maybe you're closer to the new than you think. And that's exactly when the shadow screams the loudest. Second reflection, the shadow that rises to the surface. There are moments when you swear you're going backward. You decide to change and out of nowhere that old pattern returns. That critical voice, that emotion you thought you had already overcome. It feels like sabotage, but in truth, it's just emotional debris coming out of hiding. It's the natural process of spiritual transition. Think of a physical detox. At first, your body feels it. It hurts, you feel nauseous, you get headaches. Why? Because the toxins are leaving. The same happens in the energetic field. When you raise your frequency, everything that no longer aligns with this new vibration rises to the surface. It's not punishment, it's cleansing. One of the moments I exposed myself the most, recording authentic, unfiltered videos, speaking about what truly matters, that's when my old self-criticism came back in full force, like an echo from the past. I thought, this can't be. I've worked through this already. But then I realized it wasn't a relapse, it was release. Quantum spirituality teaches us that the field responds to vibration, but before stabilizing the new frequency, it tests your solidity. And sometimes the test comes in the form of a shadow, that part of you still carrying fear, judgment, attachment. When it shows up, and it's because it's ready to be released. What scares you is often just a part of you asking to be seen. And when you look with gentleness, it begins to dissolve. That's why it's no use fighting negative thoughts. The secret is to observe without merging with them. Presence, not resistance. There's a practice that changes everything. The 3 S's, see, soft, and stay. When something uncomfortable arises, just see it. Don't try to fix it. Soften the body, drop the shoulders, and stay. For 90 seconds. Just that. You'll notice the energy begins to move, simply because you didn't react. The biggest trap at this stage is believing you've gone back to square one, but that's only the illusion of a linear mind. Spiritual evolution isn't a straight staircase, it's a spiral. Sometimes you revisit a place, only now from a higher level, with more awareness, more tools, more love. This phase can bring shame, fear of judgment, confusion. But what if you change the question from "why is this back" to "what is this trying to show me now"? That single shift activates your inner wisdom and invites integration, because only what is integrated can be transcended. When the shadow appears, it's an opportunity, not a threat. It's a chance to heal what's been ignored for years, and even if it looks messy, it's sacred, because you're not just reconfiguring the mind, you're also realigning the entire field. Your energetic frequency is being updated. Remember, too much light without preparation can also blind, so the field only brings to the surface what you're already strong enough to face. If something emerged, it means your awareness is ready. And even if you feel fragile, the simple act of observing with compassion is already a breakthrough. This practice of staying with the discomfort changes your relationship with pain, because you stop running, and when you stop running, it stops chasing you. The shadow that used to terrify you becomes a teacher, and every difficult emotion becomes a clear sign of where trapped energy longs to be freed. And as you learn to no longer run from the shadow, you begin to see it for what it really is: a step, a trampoline, an inverted mirror of your potential yet to be activated. And maybe, behind the pain that just resurfaced, there's a hidden call to update your self-image. Third reflection, the delay of self-image. You've changed, but your mind hasn't caught up yet. Have you ever felt like you've changed, but still act like your old self? It's like looking in the mirror wearing new clothes, yet only seeing the old ones. That happens because your self-image is outdated. You've changed on the inside, but the mind hasn't recognized that shift yet. Think of your phone's cache. Sometimes you delete a photo, but it still shows in your gallery. The system needs time to update. Consciousness works the same way. Reality has already changed, your vibration has risen, but your mental image still shows the old you. And that creates inner conflict. I remember a huge opportunity that showed up. Everything pointed to it being the next step, but my mind responded, "You're not ready yet." It was automatic, and in that moment I realized it wasn't true. It was just the echo of an old version trying to keep me in the familiar. This kind of delay is common in identity transitions. The body already feels the expansion, the field is already responding, but the mind, it loves clinging to the past, even when the past hurts, because the past is predictable, and the new requires surrender, presence, and that can be scary. The problem isn't still seeing yourself as small. The problem is believing that vision is real. Your self-image is a reflection, not a faithful mirror. And if you don't update that vision, you sabotage the present. You reject invitations. You shrink your steps. You quit before it blooms. This is where updating practices become essential. One of the most effective is repeating 3 powerful phrases daily. Today, I act as who I already am. I allow myself to be seen in my new version. It's safe to expand. But don't just say them. You need to feel them, embody them. So pair those words with body posture, spine tall, chin slightly lifted, conscious breathing. Send that command to the body, because the body responds before the mind, and when it steps into the new form, the psyche follows. This creates a whole new baseline. Your energetic field starts to emit a different frequency, and slowly, people begin to respond differently. You're treated with more respect, heard more deeply, more aligned opportunities arise. It's not magic, it's vibrational coherence. The world responds to how you present yourself to it. The old mind will try to return. It'll whisper, "Who do you think you are?" When that happens, just smile, because that's the exact question you must answer with your actions. Who do you think you are? Think big, feel big, move big. Your new reality is waiting for that courage. Sometimes this distorted self-image comes from old phrases you once heard and internalized. You're not good at this. That's not for you. You always give up. And even without meaning to, you repeat them. But now, you can rewrite the story, because every belief is just a thought rehearsed too many times. Your outer reality has already begun to shift. Synchronicities are becoming more frequent. Your emotions are more refined. Intuition is clearer. All that's missing is for you to see yourself as the version that's already been born, because reality only sustains what you fully inhabit. So here's the question. If your external world has already changed, what's missing is for you to truly see yourself in it. Maybe it's time to stop updating the outer world and start updating your own internal mirror, because only then you'll stop reacting to the reflection and start changing the emission. Fourth reflection, the observer loop, reacting to the reflection versus updating the emission. Most people try to change the world and by touching the mirror, but the reflection never moves first, it only responds. It's like trying to comb your hair through the glass. It doesn't work. It's you who needs to change the movement, not the image. And in life that means stop reacting and start emitting. When something happens, the mind rushes to fix the outside, the argument, the rejection, the silence. But all of that is just a mirror. It's the field reflecting a frequency. And if you react to the reflection without changing the emission, the cycle repeats. It's the observer loop. You witness the old reality, believe in it, and reinforce it. I experienced this during a conflict with someone I deeply care about. I kept trying to explain, to argue, to convince, until I realized it wasn't the conversation that needed to change. It was my inner state. I breathed. I got quiet. I shifted my posture. And the other person's response changed like magic. The mirror answered. What you see outside is the echo of what you've already been vibrating. And what you vibrate now is what you'll see next. That's why the point of power is never in the reflection. It's in your current emission. This is the real secret of quantum spirituality. Reality is an emotional mirror with a delay. There's a simple yet powerful protocol to break out of the loop. It's called 4N. Notice, name, nurture, new movement. First, notice. Become aware of what's happening without judgment. Then, name. Identify what you feel. Anger, fear, frustration. Next, nurture. Place a hand on your chest and say, "It's okay to feel this. Finally, new movement. Shift your breath, posture, or take a new action. That breaks the cycle. When you shift the emission, the entire field reorganizes. What looked like an obstacle turns into a sign. What felt like rejection becomes redirection, because now you're operating from the inside out, and that changes everything. This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about not being ruled by it. The reflection that hurts the most is the one you still believe is real. But once you understand it's just vibrational feedback, something inside of you relaxes. You stop fighting and start creating. It's like tuning the radio to a different station. There's no point yelling at the device if it's playing the wrong song. You need to adjust the dial, and that dial is your frequency. Thoughts, posture, breath, intention, all of that emits signal, and the universe always responds. This shift may seem subtle, but it redefines your entire life. Because suddenly you're no longer a victim of what you see. You become the cause, you emit first, and you stay consistent. Even if the mirror takes a while to update. That consistency is what stabilizes your new reality. Every time you choose to respond with consciousness, instead of reacting from habit, you collapse a different timeline. A new path opens, and the field says, now they're ready, and begins delivering reflections aligned with that energetic maturity. Perhaps the biggest mistake is trying to force the outside world to change before you change your inner world. But when you shift your emission, without waiting for the reflection to look different, that's when the field surprises you. Because it always responds, but only after you emit in truth. And maybe, now that you're finally emitting from a different place, the relationships around you are beginning to reflect this new frequency too, and that's exactly where the next test begins. Fifth reflection, relationships as mirrors when your social circle resists. Few things feel as uncomfortable as changing and realizing some people won't come with you. We expect support. We hope they'll grow alongside us. But in practice, what often happens is the opposite. Resistance, judgment, sarcastic remarks, as if your expansion threatens their stability. Picture a bucket full of crabs. When one tries to climb out, the others pull it back down, not out of malice but out of instinct, out of fear of the unknown. Relationships are similar. Your energetic frequency shifts, and those still vibrating in the old feel the disruption, and they try to pull you back. There was a moment when people close to me started saying I was too different. You've become someone else, they'd say. And they were right. I had changed, for the better, more aligned, more whole. But for them, it felt uncomfortable, because the old version of me served their role better. This is the invisible pain of spiritual transition. It's not always reality that resists. It's the bonds, the friendships, sometimes even family, not out of evil, but because your new vibration exposes where they are still stuck. And unconsciously, they react to preserve the old balance. The social field works like a system of mirrors. When one mirror shifts its angle, the others fall out of alignment, and the tendency is for them to try to reposition you. But if you allow that, the price is your coherence. That's when you must choose. Keep the old comfort or follow the truth of the new. A practice that helped me a lot was the 3 encounter rule. When something bothered me in someone, I'd observe if it repeated 3 times. If it did, I'd create strategic distance. It's not about cutting people off impulsively. It's about recognizing patterns and respecting your frequency. And when it becomes necessary to say no, do it with love. A loving boundary might sound like, I respect you, but right now, I need to prioritize my peace. It's simple, direct, not aggressive, but it establishes the energetic edge you need, because your evolution deserves protected space. It's not about excluding people. It's about not abandoning yourself to fit into them. If your new version no longer fits the same environments, maybe life is inviting you into new ones. And if you insist on staying, the field stops expanding, because you're the one resisting now. Yes, it can hurt. It might bring longing, but it can also set you free, because many old connections weren't love, they were habit, and habit doesn't sustain a soul that's expanding. You need relationships that celebrate, not just tolerate your transformation. That's relational coherence. It's common to feel guilt when creating space, but remember, staying in a relationship where you have to shrink yourself is also a form of abandonment of self. And when you choose yourself, with love, with respect, with maturity, the field responds. Now they're ready for aligned connections. Maybe right now you're in that exact stage, where the outer world no longer makes sense but the new hasn't fully arrived yet. That's the identity void, the in-between, and it's in that space that the body begins to feel it first. Sixth reflection, body as antenna. When the reflection hurts on the skin, your body feels even before your mind can understand. It's subtle but real, a tight jaw, a heaviness in the chest, an itch on your skin, a glance that cuts through you and feels like judgment. All of it is field, all of it is reflection, and your body, being an antenna, picks it up before you can even process. You might try to rationalize it, but if the body locks up, it's because something is misaligned. Often the pain isn't physical, it's vibrational, a mismatch between what you feel and what you show, between what you know you are and what you still pretend to be to please or protect. Think of a radio out of tune. The sound comes through crackly, distorted, unpleasant. The radio isn't broken. It just needs adjustment. So does your frequency. When your emission doesn't match your new identity, the static comes, sometimes as fatigue, sometimes as anxiety. I felt it in my voice. During times of big expansion, my throat would lock, literally, as if a part of me whispered, "You want to be heard, but you're still afraid to be seen." The body knew, long before the mind could admit it, because the body never lies. In quantum spirituality, we call this somatic feedback. Your body reveals where resistance still lives, where the new identity hasn't yet anchored into the physical. Changing the mind is a step, but embodying the change requires the body to be involved, fully engaged. The good news? The body responds quickly to subtle commands. A simple example: extend the exhale. When you release air longer than you inhale, your system registers safety. And when the body feels safe, the field opens, reality softens, the reflection shifts. Another powerful practice, panoramic vision. Instead of fixing your gaze on one point, relax your eyes and take in the whole space around you. This turns off alert mode and activates your connection system. You exit survival and enter creation. The frequency shifts immediately, so does the mirror. And here's a detail almost no one pays attention to: the tongue and jaw. When you relax both, you access areas of the nervous system that release emotional tension. It's simple. Soften your mouth, let your tongue rest at the bottom. You'll notice even your thoughts slow down. These small adjustments ripple into the field because your body is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between intention and manifestation. When you tend to your physical emission, the external world begins to align. Relationships shift, opportunities appear. Energetic tuning is daily practice. Posture is frequency too. Open shoulders, steady breath, upright spine. That posture says to the universe, "I'm here," and the universe responds, with invitations, with doors, with recognition. When the body takes up space, the soul blossoms, because now it has a home. Maybe you're feeling a discomfort without a name, a heaviness in the morning, a tiredness that won't lift. And maybe it isn't physical. Maybe it's a sign your body is trying to tell you your soul has changed, and you haven't updated your body to match it. The body always anticipates. It picks up what the field is still rearranging. That's why it's your greatest ally in shifting reality. Treat your body like a sacred temple. Listen to its messages. Honor its rhythms, and it will become a precise compass in your spiritual evolution. And as you begin to inhabit this body with deeper presence, something curious happens. You begin to move with intention, to emit with clarity, to watch the reflections change without having to force them, and in this state, even your triggers begin to show you where to dig. Seventh reflection, triggers as a map to gold. Triggers are like alarms. They irritate, scare, and disturb, but they exist to show that something valuable is hidden underneath. Instead of running away, The invitation is to listen, to feel, to dig, because at the exact point where it hurts, there lies a key, a truth, a value waiting to be released. Think of a metal detector. You're walking across the sand and it starts beeping. That doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something is buried there. A signal, a potential. Triggers are like that. When you feel anger, envy, fear, it's the field saying, there's unclaimed gold right here. I remember feeling envy towards someone who was growing fast in an area I deeply wanted to expand into. I felt ashamed of the emotion, tried to push it away, but when I breathed and faced it, I understood. That envy was just a reminder of a denied desire. I wanted that too, I just hadn't allowed myself. And quantum spirituality doesn't aim to eliminate emotions. It transforms how we relate to them. Triggers aren't enemies, they're indicators. They show what still holds you back, and also what can set you free, if you're brave enough to walk through them. Every trigger is a door, a passage, but only if you stop running, if you stop judging yourself for feeling, and start observing, with presence, with kindness, because behind the discomfort, there's almost always a need of yours that's been ignored for too long. There's a simple practice you can use whenever you're deeply triggered. The 3 questions of transmutation. What is this trying to protect? What desire is being revealed here? What small aligned action can I take today to honor this? This practice shifts the body's energy. Instead of shrinking, you expand. Because now you understand, you're seeing what was once invisible, touching what once hurt, and that gives you your power back. The power to consciously create your reality. Many people think being triggered is a sign of weakness, but in truth, it's a sign of contact. Contact with your soul, with your story, with parts of you that were left behind. And when you welcome those fragments, the entire field reorganizes, because now you are whole. Here's a major shift in perspective. What triggers you also points you. It points to something you value, something you long for, something you haven't yet given yourself permission to access. Triggers aren't walls, they're compasses. When used wisely, they guide your soul right to the center. It's not comfortable, it's not quick, but it's real. And the beauty is, and the more you welcome them, the quieter they become. They turn into silent guides, hidden masters, invitations to meet the versions of yourself buried beneath old protections. Many people avoid places, people, or content that trigger them. And yes, that can be healthy for a time. But true freedom comes when what once triggered you no longer controls you. When you look into the mirror and say, I see you, and still, I choose to remain present. Maybe right now you're being triggered by something or someone, and maybe it's not an obstacle at all. Maybe it's the field showing you the fastest path to your new identity. And if that's the case, then discomfort might be your greatest gift. Because just beyond the point where triggers lose their grip, you reach the space where you learn to stand strong, even with no guarantees. And that space has a name. 8th reflection, the in-between, turbulence before stability. You know you're no longer who you used to be, but you're also not yet who you're becoming. That space between the old and the new is uncomfortable. It's the void, the in-between. Not everything has collapsed, but nothing is fully grounded either. And in that space, the universe watches how you behave without guarantees. Think of an airplane. The most unstable moments are takeoff and landing, turbulence, shaking, a brief loss of control. But that phase must be endured to reach a new destination. The problem is, most people give up in this zone because it feels like nothing is working. There was a time when my channel was growing, and suddenly everything dropped. Views plummeted, feedback disappeared. My ego hurt. I thought of quitting, but something inside whispered, stay a little longer. This is just the test. And it was. Because right after that, the leap came. The field was clearing out the excess. This phase tests your vibrational faith. You already feel the new version of you, but the world hasn't confirmed it yet, and that requires a quiet kind of courage. To hold the frequency without external validation. To keep moving, even without applause, without certainty, without guarantees. The field does this on purpose, not to punish you, but to strengthen you. Because if you only hold your frequency when things are flowing, you're still reacting. But when you hold it, even in the void, that's when you've anchored. That's when you pass the test, and the new reality begins to form. The discomfort of the in-between is real, the feeling of being lost, floating, ungrounded. But that's just your body adjusting to a new frequency. That's why you need practical anchors, something to remind you, every single day, of who you are choosing to become. One of those anchors is the 7-day contract. For 1 full week, you commit to your new identity without checking the external mirror. That means no tracking metrics, no seeking approval, no asking for signs. Just act as if it's already done. Emit as if it's already real. During those 7 days, you'll silently repeat, "I trust the frequency I've chosen." You'll sustain your habits, your presence, your posture, even if no one sees it, even if the world is silent, because that silence is the field calibrating the new reflection. Maybe you're in that void right now. The old paths have lost their meaning, but the new ones haven't opened yet. That's not failure. That's the crossing. And the crossing has no signs, only intuition, repetition, resilience, presence. Many people try to skip this phase. They run to a new project, a new city, a new relationship. But the emptiness just changes scenery. It stays with you until you walk through it from the inside and realize that the void isn't the end. It's the womb where the new version is forming, and silently the mind will scream, "This isn't working. You should quit. Nothing is changing." And that's when you breathe, you feel, and you choose to stay. Because now you understand that the quantum leap doesn't come before stability. It comes after consistency in the chaos. In the end, this turbulent zone reveals your true spiritual maturity. Because it's easy to vibrate high when everything flows, but the true master is the one who holds the frequency when everything is still, and still keeps going, because they know what's being born. And if you manage to make it through this, something within you settles. A new center emerges, stronger, clearer, more coherent, and at that point, true consolidation begins. 9th reflection, daily coherence, consolidating the new frequency. True change is not a single event, it's repetition. A constant alignment between what you think, feel, and do. Clarity is not enough, you need coherence. And coherence is not perfection, it's conscious repetition. A daily return to the frequency you chose to embody. It's easy to forget. Life pulls, the world distracts, emotions fluctuate. That's why you need markers, pillars, simple habits that remind your soul every day of the path it decided to walk. And this is where the 3x3 framework comes in. Practical, deep, transformative. First block, 3 micro habits for every day. Conscious breathing for 2 minutes upon waking. Power posture for 60 seconds. Shoulders open, chest elevated. A spoken identity phrase. Today I act as the one who already is. These habits may seem small, but they are frequency anchors. They bring you back to center, they build presence, and when practiced daily, they not only solidify your new reality, they shield you from external turbulence. Second block, 3 emission check-ins, 1 in the morning, 1 midday, 1 at night. The question is simple. Am I emitting what I want to experience? If yes, celebrate. If not, adjust. This self-awareness restores alignment and returns your power to create. This check-in prevents autopilot living, because often throughout the day your frequency drops without notice. A look, a comment, a doubt. But when you pause and ask, you reclaim the wheel, you realign, and aligned frequency rewrites the reflection. Third and final block of the 3K3, 3 conscious releases, a habit tied to your old self, a person or connection that drains your energy, an object, item, or symbol anchoring you to the past. This is more powerful than it seems. Every person, habit, or object carries a vibrational charge, and if you're ready to consolidate a new frequency, you must let go of what anchors you to the old, not out of resentment, but out of respect. Respect for what was and for what's being born. Letting go isn't deleting, it's releasing. It's saying, thank you for bringing me this far, now I move forward lighter. And when you do this with awareness, the field knows you're ready for the new, and starts to bring people, scenarios, and opportunities aligned with your current frequency. Over time, progress markers begin to show. You respond differently to situations that used to destabilize you. You receive unexpected invitations aligned with your intention. You feel a strange peace when saying no to things that once attracted you. These are the signs, subtle but precise. And when these signs appear, you realize the new identity is no longer an effort. It's a state, a place within you from which you operate. And the more you inhabit that place, the more natural it becomes. Because now, the new frequency is no longer just a vibration, it's your routine. Reality no longer needs to shout, because now you hear the whispers. The field no longer needs to test you, because now you vibrate with maturity. And from that place, something new begins to bloom without force, because the new reality is already consolidated. Now that you've felt all of this, tell me honestly, which reflection were you rejecting, when in truth it was just a disguised invitation from your new reality? Which discomfort did you label as a problem, but now realize was only a signal that your frequency had already shifted? Because maybe you're more aligned than you think. Maybe everything happening outside is just the field reorganizing itself to reflect who you've become inside. But for that to happen, you have to stay centered in practice, in repetition, in a mission. So I ask you now, what micro-action will you take today to confirm this new identity to the field? What thought will you release? What posture will you embody? What relationship will you reassess to show that you now see yourself differently? Type it here in the comments. Which part of this video stirred something inside you? Which insight flipped a switch in your soul? Your sharing might be the mirror someone else needed to finally see themselves clearly. This space is a field of collective healing, and every comment is a new frequency being anchored. If this video resonated with you, click the like button now, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and share it with someone who's going through this quiet transition too, because the next video will take this journey even deeper. Here we don't pretend to be okay. We transform until peace becomes our baseline and the reflection becomes confirmation.